visualize your world in real time. This is the core idea behind PixVerse and its R1 AI model. It focuses on interactive, continuous creation, and that is what we are going to explore now. A short explanation of PixVerse R1 and what it is meant to be. I will put it in my own words. PixVerse R1 does not aim to treat video as a finished clip, but rather as a running state. The idea is that a scene exists continuously and keeps evolving over time. Inputs are supposed to act like impulses that influence the flow without stopping or restarting it. There is no classic rendering step in this concept, but a permanent visual output where movement, camera, space, and time are expected to remain logically connected. Cuts, jumps, or hard transitions are not really intended. If the concept works as envisioned, the result should be a believable chain of events in which every user input has a direct consequence within the same ongoing scene. Let me quickly show you how this works in practice. Log into PixVerse and you will find the real-time generate feature both in the lower left corner and again in the top navigation bar, roughly in the middle. Once you open it, you land on this screen. You can click Read Technical Report if you want to dive a bit deeper into the background, or you go straight to start live generation. In the Discover Interactive World section, you now have several options. I will ignore the promo trailer on the far left for now. Custom theme means you can generate a completely custom world of your own, and the results can be surprisingly amusing. Alternatively, you can choose from preset worlds like Dragon's Cave, Snow Peak Vlog, Hero of the Grasslands, Cosmic Voyage, or Cyberpunk City. I have tested quite a lot here already, and these examples cover a fairly wide range of visual styles. You get a good sense of what is fundamentally possible. When you select one of these options, even the most enthusiastic R1 fan will run into an access check, at least at the time this video was recorded. At the moment, an invite code is required to move forward. PixVerse was generous enough to give me one invite code that can be used by 4 people, and I would like to pass that on to you, my YouTube friends. You will find the code in the description below. First come, first served. After the code has been redeemed by 4 people, and since I do not have any additional ones, you can still hope to get early access by clicking Join the Waitlist. At this stage, PixVerse is clearly collecting early user feedback and using it to gradually scale both the platform and the immersive experience. After you are officially registered for R1, you simply select one of the tiles and continue from there. If you want to start with a predefined world, for example Dragon's Cave, this screen opens up. Once you click Start Experience, the journey begins. One important thing to keep in mind here is that every session, whether it is a preset world or a custom one, runs for roughly 5 minutes, marked here in green. So do not wait too long before starting, otherwise you lose actual experience time. The remaining time is always visible on screen, so there is no need to keep an eye on the clock. If you want to build your own world instead, click on Custom Theme. This opens a different screen, and it is worth noting that the experience time also starts counting down here. Because of that, it helps to have a rough idea in mind before you begin. You can choose between 2 aspect ratios, 3 different styles, and there is a text field where you define the world itself. A quick word on the 3 styles. POV stands for exploring the world in first person. Ambient means calm and atmospheric, with subtle motion. Dramatic focuses on cinematic storytelling, with more action. I will get back to these in a moment. When defining the world theme, you can either use Get Inspiration or type in your own prompt. More on that shortly as well. Once everything is set, you click Start Experience and jump in. Whenever you start a scenario, it always begins with this loading screen. The world you selected is being built in the background. In the following examples, I will only show short excerpts, otherwise this tutorial would run way too long. I played the role of director here, and using a few fairly simple prompts, ended up with some surprisingly amusing results, both with presets and with custom setups. While you are watching the clips, I always show my prompts at the bottom, so you can immediately see how long the response time is. Let us first compare the 3 modes: POV, ambient and dramatic. POV puts you in the perspective of a person, which can feel very dynamic in scenarios like rapids or a roller coaster. Dramatic, at least in my experience, tells the AI to push the content harder. More elements, more characters, more action. That can quickly become too much because the AI then struggles to assign instructions cleanly. Ambient works best overall. Put very simply, it feels a bit like a screensaver where a person keeps walking and walking. If you do nothing, the motion just continues. That gives you the freedom to place accents very deliberately. One important tip here is to relax and enjoy. If you fire off one prompt after another, the result starts to fall apart. Give the AI time to react to what you asked for. This does not happen instantly. It usually takes around 10 to 12 seconds. Then watch how it plays out and decide what to do next. Visually, you can often spot a clear shift between segments, which makes it obvious when your input is about to take effect. When building the world prompt, you can influence quite a lot. I experimented with this extensively. In one case, I used the following idea. The man, a solitary space station caretaker, wearing worn utilitarian flight gear, no helmet, hands open to both sides, walking slowly to the right through a dark, abandoned space station corridor. This lets you predefine environment, lighting, movement, and outfit. The AI then makes sure, in this case intended for ambient mode, that the person keeps moving continuously, usually in a predefined direction. I have collected a few of these prompts for you in the pinned comment. The Get Inspiration option, mentioned earlier, is usually tied to a very short prompt. That can work, but it can also turn into a wild ride, which then makes precise control much harder. I also noticed that inputs during a session tend to get embedded into the scenario itself. There is often no real reset. For example, when I typed something like "a horse enters from the right," the horse stayed in the scene for quite a while afterwards, sometimes even until the very end of the sequence. Additional instructions like never introduce any additional person into the scene, do not morph, do not cut between scenes, or simply keep on walking, uninterrupted, had no noticeable effect at all. Each session currently runs for roughly 5 minutes. During that time, you can experiment freely, but the AI will not execute everything perfectly. Sometimes characters get cloned, disappear, or simply stop reacting altogether. From my perspective, there are fairly clear prompting rules. If you ignore them, things can quickly turn into complete chaos. People suddenly turn into bears, then into squirrels, followed by a hard cut. A waterfall appears somewhere on the moon. The Earth shows up twice. The takeaway here is simple. Reduce your prompts and avoid overwhelming the system. The time limit also creates a bit of pressure. You constantly think, what next, what next, what next? And you catch yourself typing the same commands over and over again, like dance, fight, grab. But that is fine. This is how you slowly get a feel for this kind of interaction. The technology is still at an early stage, so there is no point in being overly critical. PixVerse itself openly states that they are working on scaling performance. And honestly, it is a lot of fun to see the main character react to your inputs. If you take this idea a step further, you can easily imagine a future where a streaming service gives you a basic storyline and you can step in at any moment. When a villain seems about to win, why not type something like "pull out the peacemaker"? Watching that unfold would probably be quite entertaining. Let me add one completely unfiltered example, so there is no sense of cherry-picking hanging in the air. For this, I defined a custom prompt. It features a playful man wearing a potato sack as clothing and a trash bag as a head covering. The scene is created in a 16:9 aspect ratio and uses the ambient style. It is honestly quite striking how precisely the PixVerse AI stages this character. To avoid breaking the cinematic flow, I let the entire sequence run with a music track underneath. The title is Dustman on the Run. Enjoy.
Cracked ground, empty potato sack, plastic crown. Wind cuts low across the strip, nothing left, still he moves. No face, no name, just motion and light. The runway waits, he steps into it. Dust man on the run, look at me. Dust man on the run, still standing, still free. Dust man on the run, no place too high. Dust man on the run, right words through time. Point at the lens, hard and sharp, dance in the dust, wild and loose. Dig through rubbish, broken glass, strike the flame, let it burn. Rust speaks louder than words, old wings sleep in the sun. One leg left balance shakes, then laughter packs the air. Dust man on the run, left too loud, left too loud. Dust man on the run, everything right. Dust man on the run, engines dead, heart fast. He runs too fast to hold. Stops, sits down, laughs again. Wide shot, loud shadow, dust man gone.
You probably noticed that R1 suggests predefined prompts right below the input field. These make it much easier to steer the scene without typing everything from scratch. My assumption is that the AI is already anticipating what could reasonably happen next and offers those options accordingly. From time to time, the sequence can feel a bit jittery, most likely due to high usage. We also saw moments where elements simply vanished, and occasionally the character's gender shifted mid-scene. Interestingly enough, short text inputs tend to work surprisingly well. Overall, it is a very enjoyable experience. I have seen the idea of real-time generation before, but implemented in a different way. One example is Descartes. Their model Lucy Edit Live lets you upload a video that then gets continuously modified by the AI. The fairly generous 1,000 credits make it easy to test the platform, but the system works a bit like an hourglass. The moment you upload a video, credits start draining per second and keep going until you stop the process yourself. There is no real start button in the classic sense. Runway is also heading in a similar direction. They are already teasing something they call real-time experiences coming soon. So this space is clearly still evolving, and it will be interesting to see where all of this ends up. That's it for this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for listening. See you soon. Your channel, AI Now You Know.